All right, let's get into it. Greetings, y'all. Welcome to 773 Oracle and Tarot. It's your girl, Chi-Town Ronnie. Here to give you your emotional and spiritual forecast for this fine day of June 23rd in the year of our Lord 2026. In the words of the immortal Miss Wendy Williams. How you doing? What's going down, my little terabytes? What's going down? Yes, y'all, it is Tuesday. Monday's younger baby ugly sister. Yep. Oh, look, and Palo Santo came to work. All right, so you know I like billows of smoke sanctifying this area. All right, she's going to give what she's going to give. Baby, it's Tuesday. I'm not blaming her for that. For our downloads today, we're going to be using the Gateway Oracle, and that is by Miss Denise Lynn. This is a Hay House production. a lot of my cards are from Hay House, but I'm branching off. So really fast, let me tilt this so you all can see. There you go. Y'all can see my shuffle. Y'all can see my pull. And let us get into this. All right. Got it. I'm going to put that right up in there. All right. So now let's get into it. Now yesterday, we were talking about people needing a reality check. Okay, we were talking about how people can overlook the blind spots, and how we can overlook the blind spots, how we can see, how we know shit is bad for us, but we keep going back to it because the brain loves familiarity, right? And so that's not an excuse. Because all you're doing is really self-sabotaging yourself. But today with the way the planets are, the best way I can encapsulate the energy, and I'll tell you the transit in a minute, is we got to be honest. When was the last time you gave yourself credit? Not for the shit that you are still trying to fix, not for the things that you are still trying to get perfect, but when's the last time you gave yourself credit to see how far you've come? Because if you're not careful, we can become so fixated on what's next, that we completely overlook how far and the growth that's already happened. And that's the energy that we're working with today. And like I said, yesterday was all about the reality checks, about our blind spots. Today's energy feels different though, because once you see the truth, the next step isn't beating yourself up. The next step is growth. So the next step is to be compassionate, because we can be compassionate for everybody else but ourselves. We are our own hardest critic. And I'm going to tell you something. There's a place for that, but not all the time. Not all the time. The next step is for us to have compassion for ourselves. The next step is to recognize that you're not the same person you used to be. And that's worth acknowledging. So today, this is today's transit. We've got the Cancer Sun forming a trine with the North Node in Pisces and sextiling with the North Node in Virgo. Let me break that down, because I know that sounds big, but let me break it down. So the North Node represents where we are growing, where we are going, where we are headed, who we are becoming. The South Node represents our old habits, our old patterns, the old way of being. Cancer brings in the compassion. Cancer brings in the nurturing, the emotional wisdom, and then Pisces brings in faith. Pisces brings in trust. Pisces brings in intuition. Virgo wants improvement, but sometimes Virgo can be overly critical. You all know those Virgos. We all know these Virgos. They're perfectionists to the nth degree, and it works for a Virgo, but not all the time, and not for everybody. All right. So together, this energy creates this opportunity for us to recognize our growth, how far we've come, and without focusing on our fuck ups, without focusing on our flaws. Let me show you what this looks like in tarot. Okay, look at it right off the bat. we're going to use the Six of Swords. So now this reading is for general, but swords represents the air signs. So my Geminis, my Libras, and my Aquas, pay attention, all right? So I want you to look at the picture. You see the turbulent water, and then you see where these people are going through. It's smooth sailing ahead, all right? So this is the Six of Swords. What are you ready to move beyond? What are you ready to leave behind? Here we go. And then for my Aquas, because I'm going to use the star, the star card. This is for my Aquarians. How has this healing changed you? How is moving past, your toxic behaviors, a toxic relationship, or bad habits, how they've changed you? How have they changed you? Because you know what? After that, we got to use the world. And both ladies, look at the cards. Both ladies are okay. They're naked. They're celebrating because you want to take me the way I am. All right? Titties and everything. You want to take me the way I am. And that's worth celebrating. Your growth deserves celebration. Look at these two ladies. They don't give a shit, honey. They don't care. They don't care if you see everything, the cellulite, everything. They don't care because they're happy, because they healed, and they're celebrating because they moved beyond the bullshit that used to make them unhappy. So if these two ladies are doing that, why aren't you doing it? Where's your celebration? Today's energy is asking us to take a moment to pause, to take a breath, and to look at our journey honestly, not through the eyes of criticism, but through honesty and through the eyes of compassion. We realize how we're handling situations differently now. We're thinking differently. We are responding differently. And we may notice that old fears, they don't have the same hold over us that they once did. Old habits, they don't have that same power anymore. Old wounds, they don't hurt the same way. We know it. Remember, the past has nothing new to say. The past stays consistent. The past never has anything new to say. And when we can look at that, baby, that is growth. That's growth. Even if it doesn't feel dramatic, that is still growth. And that growth is still worth celebrating. Let me say this to you all. One of the biggest reasons people feel stuck is because they measure themselves against perfection instead of progress. And any type of comparison is always going to steal your joy. And so if we're going to focus on what is still wrong, if we're going to focus on what is missing, if we're going to focus on what's still unfinished, we're never going to be happy. And because of that, we miss the evidence of our growth. And the mind is naturally going to look for a problem to solve. So in today's energy, we're not going to create a problem, are we? We don't need a problem. Problems will come. But what we're going to do today is we're going to celebrate how far we've come from old problems. How we're not the same person we were yesterday, a month ago, a year ago, a minute ago. That's how change could happen in a second. Healing requires us to occasionally look back and acknowledge what's already changed. That's good. You're not supposed to live in your past. Your past was a journey. Your past gave you the experience so that you could move forward. The past is never to define you. So if you can reconcile that, can't nobody throw that past in your face and make you feel shitty for it. Because first off, you're not that same person. Secondly of all, that's behind you. You don't live there anymore. But if somebody throwing your past up in your face fucks with you, that means you got some healing to do. And let me say this. Growing doesn't mean that you become a different person. Growing is becoming more of who you truly are. Every lesson, every setback, every difficult season, every uncomfortable truth has shaped us to the version of what is standing today. So we're going to bless that, because without that, we would not be the person we are now. And who we are now is worth celebrating. And the fact that we've come through something, shit, that's an honor. Remember, you cannot have a testimony if you do not have a test. So just keep in mind that universal mind or divine presence or God, whoever you want to call it, is always guiding us towards greater awareness, greater wisdom, greater wholeness. So today's energy reminds us that growth doesn't have to be forced. Sometimes growth is simply allowing yourself to recognize the progress that you've already made. So I know I'm coming at you heavy on a Tuesday. But you know what I say, straight talk leads to straight understanding. So we're going to affirm today. And I don't need the ancestors to give me an affirmation, because with this breakdown, I already got it. And we're going to affirm, I honor my growth. I trust my journey. I honor my growth and I trust my journey. We're going to recognize that progress has been made, and we're going to remain open to what's still coming forward. So today, stop focusing on what's not perfect. Stop focusing on what's missing. Stop focusing on what hasn't happened yet. And instead, ask yourself this one question: what am I doing today that I couldn't do a year ago? What am I doing today that I couldn't do 6 months ago? Have you grown? Have you healed? Have you changed? If you ask yourselves those questions, you may be surprised by the answers. So, where have you grown more than you give yourself credit for? All right? All right, moving on to our spiritual downloads. Y'all saw the shuffle. Y'all saw the pull. And again, this is from the Gateway Oracle by Denise Lynn. There's no numerological number we got to break down. And this one, it says, igniting courage. This falls right in what we were saying. Igniting courage. The card says, I'm strong, violent, I'm strong, violent, and courageous. And see, you got that person riding. Look at the horse is jumping over a barrier, and that individual is riding towards a greater horizon. And so what we're talking about is courage. We're talking about inner power. We're talking about finding the nerve to do what we know that needs to be done. So with this card, let me ask you something. Where in your life are you being called to be braver than you've ever been before? A lot of us out here, we're in life, we are determined, but we're nervous. And but we're ready to rise. So I just need you to remember something, that courage isn't the lack of fear. Courage is having the fear and moving anyway. That's courage. Whatever you got to do, my little terabytes, you can do it afraid, but you got to do it. You don't have to stand tall. You just got to make a stand. And universal mind will meet you where you're at. Most people don't realize how strong they are until life asks them to be. And let me say this. The strength that we've been looking for isn't coming. The strength that we're looking for is already here. It's just waiting for us to use it. So, hold on. Oh, and you know what? The tarot influence. Here we go. Here it is. Strength. The tarot equivalent to this oracle is the strength card. And do you see how she's opening the mouth of that lion? She's not forcing, she's gentle. She's not afraid. She knows she got it. And that's why Universal Mind gave us this igniting courage, because Universal Mind knows that everything we need, we already got. Everything we've gone through has gotten us to this point. So I'm going to leave you all with this affirmation. And we're going to affirm. This is what we're going to affirm. I have the courage to move forward even when I'm afraid. I have the courage to move forward even when I'm afraid. All right, babies. That's it. That's all. I will see you tomorrow. Remember, stay in your alignment. Your alignment is your assignment. And when life gets too hard, just close your eyes and ask the universe to show you how good it can be. All right, I'll talk to y'all later. I got to get to work. Y'all stay blessed. Bye.